Smashbox Labs.
Tell me you don't hit your kids while you're dabbing.
I mean, I do.
That was a super weird thing to be saying while I clicked record.
Yeah.
Over to the podcast.
Yeah, hey everybody. We've got a couple of cool, hip talking points today.
I didn't put dabbing on the talking points.
I mean, it is now, though.
That
I'll open us up with this. Would you rather get beat by your dad or dabbed on by your dad for 6 months? The beating is just once, but the dabbing is 6 months.
I mean, I could take my dad.
Yeah, so you would want to take the beating. I mean, the dad. I mean, the dadding? Dabbing?
What?
Look, all I'm saying is I'd take the dabbing, because I think my dad could beat me up.
If I could beat my dad up,
Right.
why would I take the dabbing?
Well, I imagine you'd be able to send it into some agency or something.
And
I don't know, get him, like, exterminated for the better of the human race? Like, what do you want from me? Like, you should
I
die.
don't think they euthanize dads for dabbing.
I don't know, if they I did a paper on euthanasia one time, so that makes me an expert on it automatically.
Right.
Which makes me smart. So I think they could euthanize a dad. Or 2,000 million.
You want to do me a favor?
Do you want me to grab the comically large knife?
No, I want you to grab the Tums. They're behind you.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Okay.
Why would I ask you to do something that specific for as a gag?
I don't know, I kind of expected you to have a one-liner for it.
I have a one-liner. Oh man, I hate grape.
I can only imagine what this sounds like on the mic.
I mean, probably no worse than me burping and having acid reflux the whole. I mean, you can put it back.
No, it's too late.
Or throw it on the ground. Have fun too. What? I need me a Tum. That way we can have a fun time recording the podcast.
Right, every fun podcast begins with Tums.
Right, you gotta put some Tums in your Tums.
We'll take that $2 now, Tums Corp.
$2.
Look, I sold us out for $2.
Listen,
okay?
that is $1 per view.
I needed...
If we could get that kind of sponsorship with Tums, that'd be great.
Look, I needed a soda at work tomorrow, so I took the $2 sponsorship deal. And now we have to sell Tums until we die. Those were the terms. We sell Tums until we die.
Right, I caught the part.
Right.
Yeah. Good job. Good call.
I'm just trying to make good on the deal now.
Yeah, you a good call is the CFO
Yeah.
of Smashbox Incorporated.
Corp. We're Smashbox Incorporated Corp. I signed that on the paperwork too. I wasn't paying enough attention. In news of other mistakes, we do actually have a couple good talking points today.
A couple. They're all great. Every single one of our talking points on every podcast is great.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to beat Double Dick Daryl anytime soon.
Yeah.
We can strive to reach that level of excellence once again.
I agree. So we'll kick this off with D&D experiences in general here. So, I've been playing D&D for 3 years now, I think.
Yeah, and I used to play a lot when I was between the ages of, I'd say 12 to about 15.
Uh-huh.
Played a fair bit. Always being DM'd by my older brother.
Seb.
Yeah, who kind of terrorized us.
Hence why I mentioned that.
What?
Seb.
Okay. But
Yeah.
I don't. But yeah, I mean,
Because he's subhuman.
yeah, a lot of the campaigns, it was like, hey, you want to be this? Well, you can't be that. I'm playing a paladin, so I can make sure you guys don't do anything too evil and too fun. The people of the land of Dungeons and Dragonia won't take this very kindly if you are bad to their people.
What a fucking douche.
And of course, 9 times out of 10, I was like, okay, well, what do I get to play? And he's like, well, they need a rogue to like pick locks and disarm traps and shit. And he's like, but you can't do any of the fun rogue stuff, like, you know, picking people's pockets or stealing things from shops. None of that. Can't be having that.
I hate DMs like that.
Yeah. See, generally, like in battles, it was rule of cool. If you roll a 20, you can do whatever the fuck you want. But in town, it's like, railroads. You just gotta do the things I set up. Yeah, do the things you gotta get it over with, and we gotta get on to the next one. Well, I played back in 3.5. That was the new thing when we were playing. So that's what we were playing.
I think the most important thing for a DM is you have to be willing to let your players take you off of the railroad that you've built.
Right.
Because there's no way to make a player less interested in your story than telling them this is what you have to do.
Right.
Like, as soon as you sit down and you say to someone, if you don't do this, you can't play, they're just going to choose not to play.
Exactly. And being told, like, what to even make, like, what to make your character, stuff like that, is, I think, really important not to do. Like, I understand that groups will work better if they have, you know, people filling certain roles. Now, that in mind, I'm not going to force myself to play something I really don't feel like playing just to fit, you know. Well, hey, the party needs a healer. What healing class are you going to roll, Drake? Gaza? I refer to myself as Gaza because that's, you know, what people know me by.
Yeah, in one of the campaigns I did somewhat recently, I intended to be a druid. Because druids, they're good healers. I mean, they're not the best healers, but you can be a healing druid. You're fine. Right. But you're versatile as a druid. You can do other shit. Lo and behold, RDM says no healing magic, can't be a druid.
Was that in the OG NASA?
Yeah, that was the
Originally,
OG.
he was going to be a druid.
Yeah.
That's lame.
I mean, the whole point of NASA at first was just keep people away from me. Because he had a lot of skills that knocked people away and a lot of crowd control in the literal sense. And that was how he was set up. So then I have to remake him into a wizard, and that just does not go well.
Yeah, that kind of sucks. I'm really glad that Matt brought up the Phoenix sorcery or Unearthed Arcana, because as soon as I heard it, I'm like, yeah, that sounds like exactly what I want to do.
Sorcerers and blade warlocks are everything a wizard should want to be.
Yeah. But I mean, I could see, like, if we were doing a water-based campaign, I could see me doing the sea sorcery.
Yeah.
That looked really cool. Being innately able to just breathe underwater and move at normal movement speed underwater is cool. But I mean, don't know how much this is going to be going on. I just want the fire. The fire. Yeah. It was just a more broad. It was very more flexible, much more flexible in my opinion. And I think I'm going to have a lot of fun with it. Granted, I still got to, you know, actually join the campaign. I'm still counting down the days till Friday. Yeah,
you're coming in this week, which, you know, our friend is DMing the campaign, and he's a great DM. He follows a lot of the Matt Mercer school of thought, which the Matt Mercer school of thought, for those of you who don't know, is you can certainly try.
Right.
What's that? You want to pickpocket a guard? Well, I'm not going to tell you it's a bad idea, but you can certainly try.
Well, I mean, the thing is, he will tell you it's a bad idea, but he'll still let you try.
Yeah.
Like, my brother was just like, you know, hey, I want to pickpocket this thing. Well, you have a paladin in your group. Okay. Well, he won't like that very much. Like, well, he doesn't have to know I'm doing it.
Yeah. Like, I know in D&D one time, there was a schism in the party. Because my character was lawful good, and so was another character in the party was doing evil shit.
Right.
So what we did was we waited for the rest of the party to go do something without us, because they were obviously very upset that we weren't letting them murder hobo their way through things. And then we stole their means of transportation and left.
Nice.
Yeah, then we came back. We had a separate session. We came back with the what we thought was the cure for the reason behind all this evil shit, which was one character's vampirism. And we cured her of the vampirism.
How'd that go?
Well, at first it looked an awful lot like it didn't work. So the cure for vampirism in this case was simply to murder her. So we killed her.
And she came back?
After a day.
Oh.
And you know our DM.
That's like 1/3 of Jesus's respawn time.
Yeah, but our DM played it out so well. He made it seem like it wasn't working. So we
was Colin the DM for this?
Yeah,
Okay.
Colin. We waited beside that corpse for a solid day, and I was like, oh fuck!
Y'all didn't just bury it and get on with your adventure?
No, because she at one point when she became a full vampire, she had died for 3 days. But they were on a ship, so they couldn't bury her at the time.
Right. Just throw her out to sea. That's what you do when somebody dies in the high seas.
That's what
happened to Osama.
That's what Josh wanted to do. He wanted to just throw her out to the sea. Because his character hated it.
That was a good call, Jersh.
Yeah, his character.
That's exactly what I would have fucking done, dude.
Yeah, he hated
Who
that.
was the vampire? Was
Alex.
Okay.
Very, very predictably Alex.
Okay. I mean, I wouldn't say that, but I mean, I guess it makes sense having heard it.
Yeah.
It seems to be in his wheelhouse. But I really liked his character in Jersh's campaign.
Oh, yeah. She was great. I liked all the characters in Josh's campaign.
Yeah.
It did, however... I don't know. I just didn't have a lot of fun during that campaign for a number of reasons, but, you know, it happens.
For context, they just finished a campaign being DM'd by Josh, a.k.a. Jersh.
Mm-hmm.
And Alex, he played a very lackadaisical orc bard, I think.
Bardbarian.
Bardbarian, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yes. But I saw most of the bard side. Mostly the bard side, and it was very entertaining.
Yeah.
He actually wrote a song for the one. Actually, two.
He wrote 2 or 3 songs.
Two songs that I saw. The one about Cullen bashing the one of the traveling bards over the head with his drum until he broke his neck, and then at the party a revised version of the same song, which was fucking hilarious, and everybody was dying during the whole thing.
Yeah.
This is a very serious moment, and because Alex is rolling so well with his performance, the crowd is just like, "Oh yes, masterful songcraft." Yes.
It was one of those things that I really loved. I have a lot of good moments in D&D.
Right. Well, with those good moments, there are bad moments. Absolutely horrible moments. What would you say is the worst moment in your D&D experience?
From the point of view of a player or from the point of view of a character?
One and then the other.
Character. Okay, so in Colin's last campaign, I played a Sun Soul monk.
Wukong, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wukong.
And doofy. Was he like a chimp man or just a guy?
He was a blonde human.
Okay.
I made him.
Okay, so you really played up the blonde part.
Yeah.
Okay.
I played up the blonde part. I made him very much like a ditzy anime-ish protagonist.
That's good.
And at one point we were fighting a dragon. A red ancient dragon, which for those of you who don't know, that is the second hardest boss to fight in the entire game. Boy fucking golly. So we're in Daggerford, and we're kind of... What?
That's where we're at in this
game. Yeah, it was at one point leveled.
Oh, nice, nice.
It might have been water deep, to be honest. We were in one of them, and it got leveled completely by this dragon and burned to the ground. So... I come up with the idea, we need to get this dragon's attention. We need to distract it and bring it to us so we can set an ambush for it. So we fight over a plan for about 10 minutes. And finally... As
custom between your group.
Yeah.
Was it the same people from George's campaign? Just roles switched around? Okay.
So I finally come up with a brilliant idea. You know what, guys? I have a flying nimbus. How about... I go up and I get its attention and I lead it here.
Oh, is this? I think I've heard this story.
Yeah, so what happens is, before anyone can come up with the idea of, oh, we probably shouldn't send our main tank up to go fight a dragon in the air solo, I took off. So
wait, was it that you just left so quickly, or that nobody thought it was a bad idea?
Nobody thought it was a bad idea.
Nobody thought it was a bad idea at first. Like, how long into you going to start this plan did it take them to be like, huh, now that we think about this, he's probably gonna die.
As soon as they realized that a dragon's flying speed is 180 and mine was 120.
Nice, nice.
So
Nimbus!
yeah, so keep in mind I'm dashing. That's the only reason it's such high flying speed.
What is terminal velocity if you jump off this Nimbus?
We actually found that out.
Oh,
I would have taken, I think, 500 D10s.
nice, nice, nice.
Yeah. So here's what happened.
So, at the minimalistically, you were taking 500 damage,
Yeah.
and you had what, like 80 health?
No, I had 155.
Oh, so
I was the tank.
I mean, it was feasible. I mean, you almost survived.
Yeah. The limit on falling damage is usually like I think 150 or something like that. So I could have survived. Like if we followed the maximum damage rule and then it rolled all ones, I could have survived.
Right.
But so here's what happens. I fly up to the dragon, and from max range, I throw a bolt of lightning pretty much in its face. And it hits, and the dragon's pretty pissed.
Well, yeah.
So I take off at max speed across the sky. What I hadn't counted on was being like 5,000 feet in the air, and the dragon being much faster than I.
Nice.
So I'm flying through the sky, this thing's slowly catching up to me, and as soon as Cullen mentions, the dragon's closing in on you, I said, I'm going to start descending. And he's like, straight down? And I was like, kind of diagonal. And I believe that was my mistake. Because as soon as I do that, obviously the dragon follows me, but because I didn't get far enough down, the dragon catches up to me before I can get to a safe falling distance.
Nice.
So the dragon attacks me a couple times. I managed to... The first time it misses. The second time it hits, but I managed to stay on my Nimbus cloud. And the second time it knocks me clean the fuck off. So I'm knocked into the air.
Just like ragdolling towards the ground.
And no, at first it knocked me even higher.
Oh.
So
like smacks you upwards, and you're just like, this is kind of sweet.
Yeah.
And then you hit your peak. And then you start going back down, and it's like, it's just top tilt dragster all over again.
Yeah, so I start falling toward the dragon, and it goes to catch me in its jaws, but it misses.
Nice. Which actually might have saved you if it caught you.
No, I would have gotten swallowed. I talked
fair, I
to
guess.
Cullen about it afterward. He was like, you'd have gotten swallowed.
Yeah.
But, because the damage alone would have killed me.
Oh, okay. Well,
But,
I guess it didn't matter either. Either you hit the ground, you hit the dragon, you can't win.
Yeah, so it barely nicks me or whatever, and I take, I think, like 30 to 40 damage. And I had already taken 60 from claw attacks.
Jeez.
So now I'm looking pretty bad. And I was trying to think of something, because my cloud is a once-a-day power. It got knocked away when I did.
Nice.
And I have no other way to stop myself from falling.
Nobody in the party has feather fall.
They're like a mile away.
That's fair too, I suppose.
I had feather fall, but that was, how I mentioned earlier I could have survived if the dice rolled all ones? That was after counting in feather fall. Because I'm falling at terminal velocity to approximately half terminal velocity, but from about 5,000 feet.
Right. Okay. Fuck.
Yeah, so...
What was the dragon doing that high in the sky?
When I pissed it off, I made the mistake of, flying at an arch to try and make it harder to catch me. Because the first thing I thought was...
Well, what you need to do in situations like that, you need to go in a straight line. Because if he's faster than you, he's going to catch you faster if you arch.
Yeah, it's also
You need to go
extremely
directly.
easier for a dragon that's the size of 3 football fields to climb upward than it is for me. So, I'm in the air at this point. I'm foobarred, and I get the bright idea. Cullen, while I'm falling, can I try and grab onto one of the dragon's scales as I pass it? And he goes, you can certainly fucking try. Make an athletics check with disadvantage. So...
Because, you're fucked up.
Yeah. So I make the check, just barely. I succeeded by 1. And I grab onto the dragon scale. And at first it tries to throw me off, but then I shout out to it, I know who killed your mate.
Was that a bluff?
It was our party.
Oh, God. Yes. Oh, man.
So all he says is, where? And then I point to the park where our party is waiting. And he flies me there, and he throws me off and slams me onto the ground and knocks me out.
Nice.
So our main tank is down.
Now the party has to fight this dragon.
Yeah.
Wait, is this the campaign that ended in all of you dying?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
That makes sense now.
You're starting to see it.
Yeah.
So I, thankfully, due to plot stuff, I get full healed. So I'm back up, and then here's what happens in the fight. Our fighter gets feared. Our other tank gets knocked out, I think. And then we're all pretty low health except for me, who I got full healed at the start, but I hadn't been hit yet. Our druid gets the bright idea. Well, I'm gonna turn us all into birds and then fly us away. What
The
wasn't?
dragon can fly, you dinks.
Yeah, what wasn't mentioned was that this would take an action for all of us to accept.
Mm.
And additionally, once turned into a bird, if you hit 0 HP, you go back to, being you, right? But you can't use a reaction because your reaction is used on turning out of bird form. So here's what happens. The dragon gets its fire breath back on that turn. It one-shots all of us except for me, who survives with 1 HP. You want to know the fucked up part? Had I not accepted being turned into a bird, I would have been alive at about 100 HP.
Nice.
But unfortunately, because a bird only has like 40 HP, and then I didn't get to reduce the damage by over half, I got fucking demolished. So I'm the only survivor in this attack except for the fighter, who is way away because he ran, he got feared. And then afterward, if something that fucks me up is if I fuck up, everyone rides me about it. But if someone else leads to an entire TPK, nothing. I was super pissed. There's not a lot that can get on my nerves except for when someone implies my incompetence. Because don't get me wrong, I'm a doof. That's half of my life.
I was gonna say, I imply your confidence pretty often.
Yeah, but
Most of it's for the sake of comedy.
Yeah, but if someone seriously implies that I'm incompetent or that I'm stupid, I take natural offense because it's one of the few things where I'm very comfortable with my own intelligence. And I'm not saying I'm a fucking genius, if anything, I'm barely above average, if that. But what fucks me up is the look you're giving me implies no, you're not. But it fucks me up when someone who I'll play a stupid character.
Yeah.
Like Wukong, whose intelligence was
I was going
8.
to say, Wukong was an intentionally dumb character.
Yeah.
I think that you played your role in that situation to a T.
Yeah. And the party mistook that as me being dumb.
Yeah, see, that's a problem that I have, and which I hope doesn't become a problem in the campaign, but I don't do the whole meta thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really into thinking about it outside and say, what's the best course of action for us to take? I think about it in terms of what would my character think? What would my character reasonably know? What would my character reasonably do?
Mm-hmm.
In being a hot-headed Phoenix sorcerer,
Mm-hmm.
Things might get heated, pun intended.
Yeah.
Personally, my worst experience with D&D is literally all of my experience with D&D in the past.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, being DM'd by somebody who's also playing a character in the party just to make sure you guys don't do anything too evil.
Mm-hmm.
Not fun. Not a super fun thing.
I think one of the few things that irritates me about D&D is that I want to preface this with I love everyone in our group. I unabashedly do love everyone in our group. But there are times where I want to rip their goddamn throats out. Because everyone in our group is very stubborn, except for 2 people. And once they form an opinion, it's very difficult for them to shift that. And don't get me wrong.
Is that a character trait for them?
For them in real life, yeah.
Okay.
And don't get me wrong.
Because you're allowed to play foolhardy characters. You're allowed
Yeah.
to play stubborn characters.
But it's one of those things where after I played Wukong, people genuinely thought I was stupid.
Right. I enjoy having meta conversations about characters and my interactions with other characters. The only thing recently that I could say happened was the thing with Jerish and him. He was playing the dumb Barb in the sad campaign that we ended up having to bail out of. But he was playing the dumb barbarian, and we were like, you're not really playing a dumb barbarian. You're playing Jerish, who is sometimes dumb to be funny. It's like, that's not really fitting the character. It's sort of meta-y. And he was like, I absolutely want you guys to call me out on that. And
then
I could tell he meant it at the time, but then we start trying to tell him, hey, you're being super meta, and he starts arguing. And, until he finds out, hey, I'm outnumbered in my opinion, he doesn't really drop it.
Then he character switches because he doesn't want to be a dumb character.
Yeah.
It's like when you play a character like that who has a big character flaw, like a really obvious one,
right?
You have to be willing to roll with that. And don't get me wrong, I've come home many a time and bitched that, like, oh, these people don't like my character, or I feel offended because of this.
Well, the last campaign, the one that I sat in on, it didn't seem like NASA, your wizard character you mentioned before, was meant to be liked by anybody.
Yeah, he was supposed to start off very curmudgeonly, but that quickly turned into hating me instead of NASA. And
well, that's another thing. Like, people got to understand. Like, it's not just because you're playing a character. Somebody needs to play foil.
Yeah,
it's absolutely in the story. And if everybody gets along in the party, that's unrealistic. It's not. This isn't a fucking Disney movie. It's not going to be, all sunshine, rainbows, lollipops, other bullshit, however you want to fucking say it.
Yeah.
There's going to be disagreements within the party. If you do something that is very clearly going to upset my character, I'm not going to just, I'll just ignore it because I just want everybody to get along and hold hands and hug at the end of the night. That wouldn't be playing. That wouldn't be role playing.
Yeah.
That would just be playing a game.
I think part of any problem is that, or any problem like this, when you are role playing like that with a group for up to 6 hours at a time, it becomes extremely hard to disseminate the person from the person they're playing.
Right.
Because for 6 hours, and sometimes it's the only time you see them during the week, for 6 hours they are that character. So it's like if you're playing a dumb character, an asshole character, a racist character, an evil character, whatever.
Which I'm very excited to play a dwarf that's racist against gnomes.
Yeah. It just becomes one of those things where because that's all people get to see of you, it's kind of what they mistake you for.
Right.
Like, I don't think anyone I've ever sat down and had a conversation with at work, for example, thinks I'm dumb.
Right.
But the friends that I play with, I game with, I do whatever with, they might, because they see me playing a dumb character, they see me playing a racist character, whatever.
You still didn't link me your backstory for this campaign.
Yeah, I did.
Did you?
Yeah.
It must have got lost with all the dwarf pictures.
Yeah, I sent
the half joking dwarf pictures.
The Hello Kitty dwarf.
Yeah, the Hello Kitty white beard dwarf.
Yeah.
Fucking Juicy Steele's reaction to that picture.
No.
Oh my god, I tagged you because I wanted you to see it. It's so great.
I just remember I was taking a shit when you pulled it up.
I'm gonna go find it now in the Discord chat. Steele. I'll probably delete this, but I look cute in this.
I love it.
I fucking died so hard.
Fuck, dude. I love shit like that. I love people who can roll that shit.
Yeah.
But
it was a very quick, like, as soon as I posted the picture, because I laughed and people were like, what are you laughing at? I was like, well, I had to explain the situation, hey, I'm joining this D&D campaign, I'm looking for dwarf pictures, and Duke sent me this, and I linked that, and immediately Steele's typing, he sends that, and I fucking died.
So, okay, what's your worst out of character experience?
Out of character experience? So we're all playing in my garage at the time, and we've got my brother DMing. This is the biggest D&D group we've ever had. We've got my brother DMing. We've got his friend, his friend's cousin, me, my younger brother, me and my younger brother's friend, Lucas, I believe, was joining us. And so we had 6 people, and for some reason, everybody just hated Sebastian, his friend's cousin. Just absolutely hated the guy. I was just like, he seems like an alright guy. He was pretty funny. I still talk to him every now and then. And if you've seen the picture of the no, actually that wasn't him. Never mind. Whenever I was playing baseball, I used to just hang out and play catch with the guy. It's because he lived nearby, and I had a picture of stitches imprinted on my face because I took a pitch to the face, and he was in the background of it on my Facebook, obviously, and I couldn't remember until just now if it was him that threw that and hit me with it, but no, it was one of the JV pitchers from my high school team.
Shit.
Yeah. He was a loose cannon. I took one to the neck and one to the cheekbone. Because he's a super tall dude with very long, stringy arms. Yeah. And no matter how he was throwing, everything seemed to just be a curveball. Damn. I don't understand it. So, and like wide breaking. Like, this was me out here trying to get it, and then I'm hitting the face with it. Yeah. Damn. In character, there was this mod that we were running. It was a very silly trap where at the end of this hall there was like this demon idol, and if anybody touched the idol, everything in the hallway would be evaporated. Oh. Just if anything or anyone touched the idol, everything would get evaporated. So, of course, our first night doing it, I go up, I touch it, we all get evaporated. So, all right, nobody touched that. We're gonna try again. We were like 6 hours into playing, and it was like we're cutting it. We'll play next weekend. So we come back next weekend. We get to the same part. New party of characters. Everybody's pretty much playing the same thing. Just the fighter wanted to play a wizard. The wizard wanted to play a fighter. Yeah. Whatever. We get back to the hallway, and we ignore the idol. We go past the hallway. There's some like ogres or something in there. Like, okay, they're sleeping, so we don't have to deal with them. We all go hide in the side room and like think of a plan. And I'm like, I got it. I'll go lure the ogres out. I'll stand at the door. I'll use a throwing knife, hit the idol, and while the knife is in the air, I'll pop back into the room. No problem. And my brother was like, well, I guess that could work, but you'd have to make this throw, that throw, and a third throw. And I was like, okay, well, what do I need to do that? And it's like, well, you need acrobatics, subtlety, and another acrobatics check. So I don't remember exactly what it was, but I had to make 3 checks, and I passed all 3 of them, and he was kind of pissed off because he wanted us to fight ogres. And I was like, do we still get experience? He's like, fuck no. What? But it didn't matter really, because he was just like, hey, we've been at this like 4 hours, you guys leveled up. Oh, wow. Yeah, it was one of those kind of things.
Oh, that shit gets me. Did I already mention my worst out of character?
I don't remember. I guess I sort of just assumed it was part of the... Everybody thinks I'm stupid because I play a stupid character thing.
No, during Wukong, it was like I was a little offended, but I didn't mind it. Right. But for worst personal, I would say just playing NASA, the whole thing. Because now whenever Josh's campaign is brought up, no one can go... or some people can't go without mentioning how incompetent and shitty I was at playing a wizard.
Even though Josh told you couldn't do things that you had researched being able to do. Yeah. After he told you no healing magic.
Yeah, like there were so many things, like no wish spell. It just, my class ended up getting nerfed.
Yeah, that part pissed me off. The no wish thing. I get it. Yeah. But at the same time, the wish is pretty limited.
Yeah. It's already pretty fucking limited. Like, yeah. It's one of those things where I think the game 5e is balanced enough.
Yeah. You don't have to say you can't use this, that, and the other. Yeah. Wish is one of the I think it's the only wizard 9th level spell that doesn't require another component, as far as if I remember correctly.
I think there is a component, I just don't recall it.
No, it doesn't have a component.
Oh, really?
Yeah, absolutely no component. I think that for Gate, you have to have a diamond worth at least 5,000 gold pieces to do.
I know for Simulacrum, it's like 1,000, a diamond worth like 1,000 GP, and then the equivalent of your body weight in snow.
Fuck that.
Snow or ice.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's one of those things where every time I picked a spell that he didn't like, I couldn't have it.
Right.
And don't get me wrong, you know, I get it. You know, you want to tell the story you want to tell.
He's the DM. He doesn't want you fucking up the story with a wish.
Yeah, it's like, I love him, I do. It's just, nothing made me feel shittier than being put in a situation where I was blamed because he nerfed my character.
Yeah.
Well,
see, it was a bad sign when he was like, he told you not to do the character you wanted to do.
Yeah.
And then, like, at every turn, because he told you it was too weak, if I remember right.
Yeah.
He said you weren't going to have a fun time because it was too weak.
Mm.
And then he nerfed, like...
everything.
Yeah, he said you couldn't Misty Step and move.
Yeah, he said he couldn't Misty Step and move.
Which you very obviously can, because as shown by the fact that he's now trying to do it, correct?
Yeah, it's the point of the subclass.
Yeah.
The whole point of the Blade Singer class is that
that whenever I was looking up the Magic Initiate perk stuff,
yeah,
that was one of the things. It's like, get Misty Step, and, you know, with your fighter class, get Misty Step and whatever the fuck the other cantrips were. I can't remember.
Yeah, because it makes you mobile.
Yeah, exactly.
And it can save your life.
Yeah, you can move, and then you can, you know, pretty much blink to another.
Yeah.
It's pretty much blink, but there's no chance of you accidentally trapping yourself in another plane.
Yeah, like I at one point during the campaign we're on a boat, and I know that these enemies, if I get hit, I'll get taken to half health.
Right.
So my first, what I want to do, if I were allowed to do it, is attack, Misty Step away, and then use my movement to get max range so I can just use spells. Obviously, I'm told I'm not allowed to do that. So what I do is I have to spend my entire action disengaging because for some reason I just for that particular decision I just wasn't allowed to use Misty Step. There was some bullshit.
It's too misty out. You can't do that.
Yeah. Or I think I might have admittedly used something the turn before, or there was something going on, whatever. No, there wasn't.
I mean, but you could always cast it at a higher level.
I had to use my movement to get in, and I was going to use my Misty Step to get out.
Right.
But I was told I can't do that. So instead, I just disengaged, and I left I used the full remainder of my movement to leave. And I used dash, so I got as far away as I could. Which is, like, I think, for me at that point, it was 80 feet. I'm on the other side of the boat. Complete opposite of where this creature is. Little do we know, because Josh made the creature, it has a flying speed. So it flies after me and one-shots me. And then I get blamed for not getting far enough away. You want to know the one thing I could have done?
Misty Step.
I could have dimension doored 400 feet into the fucking ocean.
Nice.
And drowned. Because a storm was going on. That was the only other course of action I could have fucking taken. And I got reamed for it. I got bitched at for it. I got into a lot of arguments for it. It was really fucking frustrating. I think it was at that point. It was either that or the next time I got knocked out in one shot that I totally just fucking zoned out of the campaign. I was like, this has just become so uninteresting to me.
Yeah, I know the last few weeks you were really, like, just glad to finally be getting it over.
Yeah. And there was so much, like, I was supposed to get a character arc, never did. My character, the only development that my character had was the development that I personally wrote into the character.
Right.
Whereas everyone else got their own character arc and they got to do their own shit. Not me.
Yeah. The whole, hey, there are no libraries in favor.
Yeah, that was another example. I think after a certain point, I called Josh out because I was just like, look, it feels like you're just personally shitting on me at this point.
Yeah.
And once we actually went to a library later in the campaign, I felt even fucking worse. It's like, dude, I get it. You don't like the character I'm playing, that's fine. Don't take a shit on me.
Well, did he at any point ask you to play a different character?
He told me I should probably switch.
But did he ask you to?
No.
Yeah, you can't tell somebody, hey, you should probably just play a different character. You can say, hey, I would really appreciate it if you played a different character.
Yeah.
Probably would have won over pretty well. You know, you're an agreeable guy.
Yeah.
You're not an asshole. you would have probably, if he would have said, hey, I think it would have worked better for the story if you played a different character. You'd have probably been like, man, that kind of sucks. I was really looking forward to playing this guy. But that wouldn't have really been true because you wanted to play a druid.
Yeah.
And he said no healing magic. So you're like, well, I guess I'll do the wizard thing. And he's like, you should play something else.
Like, you can't use 25% of your spells.
Yeah.
That's an exaggeration. It wasn't exactly 25%.
Well, we've talked for 40 minutes now about Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, let's move on to why eating booty-like groceries is irresponsible.
Right.
So what the fuck warranted this?
Okay. So, I think that the line, I don't know what song it's from. It's apparently from a rap song, maybe a pop song. It's hard to tell because...
It was rap.
Oh, no. I don't care. But the line is, eat that booty like groceries.
Mm-hmm.
Now, either you are consuming groceries too quickly, or you are consuming booty too slowly.
Well,
my two things here. Because if you eat your groceries like you should a booty, you would need to go to the store like 4 or 5 times a week.
4 or 5 times a day.
4 or 5 times a week.
Yeah, if you suck at eating booty. I'm just kidding.
You'll get that back at the end of the podcast.
I'm sorry.
I stole his phone. He wasn't even on it. I just took it from him. It was in his pocket. He made me mad, so I took it from him.
It's all about the power.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that.
Thanks,
I'm kidding.
Dad.
I'm still holding that.
But have you ever eaten ass?
No, I don't want to. Only ugly people eat ass.
I mean, that hurts.
Calls it as I sees it.
But it's one of those things where I'm not going to say it's not as bad as you think. It's pretty bad.
So you've done it?
Yeah.
I've been watching a lot of like the Breakfast Club,
Yeah.
like watching interviews with people, and not just all rappers. Sometimes just like entertainers.
Oh, for
like,
a minute I thought
like,
you meant like the movie, The Breakfast
No.
Club.
There's
I was
a
like,
there's
where's
a
the ass eating?
there's a 105.1 FM radio station.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they're just now a Sirius XM radio station, but they do a show called The Breakfast Club, and they interview people early in the morning, as one would imagine. A place called The Breakfast Club would. But it's just been super entertaining watching, and I can't remember where I was going with this now. What were we talking
Eating
about?
ass.
Charlemagne the God. He's a radio personality.
Yeah.
And he has a list of women that he wants to suck farts from the butts of.
That's not fun.
I was just like, what's the
getting
deal?
at?
And at one point, he was explaining it to one of the guests, and he said, "It's like a queef," and I was just like, "That's not better, dude.
Yeah, that's not better.
What the fuck?"
I think okay, so
And then he further went on to explain, it's like, whenever like you've done the deed so many times, just like you gotta find weird shit to get off to. I was like, you need to like slow
simmer
your roll
down,
there a little bit, yeah.
Okay, so I won't lie. For those of you who don't know, the reason that I'm mostly into men, it's because I don't like vagina. I think that vagina is fucking icky. Right?
Oh my god.
They're like, don't get me wrong. I've eaten ass. I've eaten vagina. I've done my part. Right? I'm a very generous human being. But for me,
why are you going into this?
I
go
feel
somewhere.
like booty eating is a necessary tithe.
No.
You gotta pay it sometimes.
No.
If you want to fuck a dude,
That's an exit
sometimes you
only.
gotta eat his ass.
Exit only.
Sometimes you gotta. How else you gonna fuck a dude, guys? You want me to dock with him? You want me to stick my penis in his penis and see what happens?
I mean, it's whatever you want to do. That's
You want
that's
me to
up to you.
arch our dicks together?
I mean, you could 69
Some
all
people do that.
day and night.
Well, that's not satisfying.
But there's a beehole. That's a sacred place where poos come from.
Sometimes I just want to grab a dude by the back of the head and fuck him in the ass. You gotta show your dominance. That's how it works. Look, like, all I'm saying is, if you don't eat the booty first, you gotta lube first, and then how are you gonna get your dick sucked if your dick tastes like lube? That's all I'm saying.
It probably tastes like poo too.
Well, no, if you're gay, the etiquette is a lesson in gay. The etiquette
stop,
is that you clean
stop,
your ass.
Stop.
With an animal.
Stop it. Stop what you're saying. Quit it. No. No more. Quit. Stop. Please. Why do I have to say stop 4 times before you stop
That's
saying?
a genuine tip.
I don't care. I said stop. Oh my god. It's like, do you know what rape is? Because you just pretty much described it with your sexual acts.
How is that right?
Grab him by the back of the head and fuck him.
Some dudes like
Donald
that.
Trump.
Well, I'm not
Grab him
grabbing
by
them
the
by
pussy. Yeah. Oh, it's so different. You're not grabbing them by a sexual
One is a
organ.
willful act, and the other one's grabbing them by the pussy.
Saying grab him by the back of the head and fuck him. That doesn't sound like a willful act.
That's I like rough sex. Is that what you wanted from me?
No,
I like rough fucking.
I don't care for that.
I'm not about that Brokeback
it's
Mountain
just-
shit. I don't gently fuck under the stars. You know?
Well, maybe it'd be more acceptable to talk about on the podcast if you did.
I think fighting should be like fucking.
I don't. What?
Fucking should be like fighting. Fighting.
You know,
should
Chris
be like
Brown
fucking.
got arrested for that.
To be fair, have you read the police report for that?
No, I don't want to.
It's fucked up.
He's a much bigger man than she is.
He's like 3 weight classes.
Yeah,
up.
he was punching down. Like she's
Yeah.
way the fuck out of his weight class. I think if your girlfriend is in your weight class,
Yeah.
then if it's a fair fight kind of thing, even then, if you throw the first punch, you're an asshole. You should go to jail for that shit.
Yeah.
But in that situation, she's like a twig,
Yeah.
and he's not like huge, but he's a bigger guy.
Yeah.
He's like 6'4", like 6'5".
I don't think
something
he's
like
6'4". I think he's 6'2".
He's a taller guy.
He's taller than
He's
Rihanna.
he's got long dancer's arms,
Yeah.
because he used to be a backup dancer or something.
He's got reach.
Yeah, he's got reach. If they were on an airplane,
Yeah.
he could be punching across 2 seats and still hit.
How thick is a Lambo, width-wise?
I don't. Does it look like I have ever been in a Lamborghini? I am flattered if you think I do. The nicest car I've ever been in, probably a Chrysler 300.
Oh, nice.
That was for 2 minutes.
But Chris Brown was in this car once. There was a Lambo with Rihanna, right? And here's the rough shot of what happened.
Okay.
She's on her phone, and he goes, "Bitch, what you doing?" And keep in mind, this is written very factually in a police report. And she says nothing, and he says, "Give me the phone," and she says no, so he hits her. And now keep in mind, he's driving. This wasn't like while they were pulled to stop. They're driving through a residential neighborhood.
He didn't even try that "bitch, I'll kill us both" thing. He just went straight for the swing.
No, he starts hitting. So
the
he's
fuck?
hitting, he's still driving, and this reads like a fucking action movie script. He's just going across the fucking residential neighborhood, swerving through bushes while punching his girlfriend in the face.
I was trying to throw Duke off from telling his story by putting his phone back in his pocket. He didn't miss a beat there.
Yeah, so
He is unshakable here when he's talking about the injustice that was done onto Rihanna.
yeah, and that's
poor woman.
the whole shtick of it. He just
See,
brings the
I'm
beat
glad that I was on the right side of that fence now.
Yeah,
You don't, even if you're dating a girl, you don't have, if she says nothing, like, she's just fucking looking at something on her phone. Like, if I'm sitting here scrolling through Reddit on my phone and you ask me what I'm looking at, and I just feel,
yeah, it's like I'm not gonna fucking hit you.
yeah, because you get your ass kicked, but I mean,
It's like I think that what happens today in society is that the problem with most relationships is that people are too ready to fight over what they're insecure about.
right.
And don't get me wrong, I'm guilty of the same thing. I've done it.
You think this is all because Chris Brown is a little dick?
I bet. Have you seen that Swalla La La song?
I don't know what that is now.
It's just him with bitches hanging off of him. I think that's Chris Brown. No, that's Jason Derulo. I lied to you. Celebrity penis size rumors is... Oh, Nicki Minaj says Chris Brown has a little dick. Oh, no. Go to Chris Brown cock shot revealed.
I don't want to click on that.
Click on it. For those of you who don't know, we're currently waiting.
The Data Lounge.
I feel like Chris
Since
Brown's...
1995. This is just a screen cap of World Star. And then it says Thoughts. This is Needle Dick. 202 views. What am I supposed to be looking at? This is
Maybe it's...
World Star Hip Hop.
That just takes us to worldstarhiphop.com. What is this,
Yeah.
a lengthy promo? Is it a roundabout way to get us into World Star?
Yeah, I think that we've been gooned.
Yeah, we've been
This
fucked
is like
on.
this is what's the one website? post like really poorly faked images of celebrities, and it's like, oh, leaked photos of Vanessa Hudgens. Haven't seen any of those in a month.
Dude, I fucking hate those. They're all shitty.
Celeb jihad.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's what I imagine. It's like, it's pretty much that's what I imagine that website is now.
You know what my least favorite thing on Tumblr is?
Tumblr?
People will take photos of like the heads of a character, right? And then paste it very poorly onto like celebrities, or like the character's head on like a porn actor's body. So it's like, if you wanted to see like Goku from Dragon Ball Z butt fucking a photorealistic except for the head Vegeta, you could. And I never got the point. I also never got the point of male pregnancy.
I'm gonna stop you there.
Because that is a bit tangential.
Yeah, very tangential.
Yeah.
We're very far off topic, and we spent 45 minutes talking about D&D, which was only supposed to be 2 of our 6 talking points here.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't care for the magic behind Smashbox Live to be broken down for you, what happens is each day before the podcast, well, not every day, we don't do these every day, but every Wednesday, normally when we record the podcast, we will sit down. We will both spitball 3 topics. Most of the time that means we'll have 6 topics, but sometimes it's like, well, I'll have a follow-up to do, because then I already have 3, so now we have 7 topics. But I mean, ordinarily speaking, we have 6 talking points, and we spent the first 45 minutes of this podcast talking about Dungeons & Dragons, which was our first 2 talking points.
Mm-hmm. And this time, we kind of took a bit of a detour.
A very, very long detour.
Yeah, so to get back on topic, the topic of male pregnancy, we'll go to Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts is one thing that's really near and dear to me.
You can't just brush past that. What the fuck does male pregnancy have to do with Kingdom Hearts?
Well, spoilers for those of you who don't know.
Stop. No spoilers. Kingdom Hearts, go. What do you have to say about it? This is your talking point.
Okay. Kingdom Hearts is a beautiful game series. The combat is great. The first game, a bit unpolished. Second game, getting better. But the interquels and the prequel, great. The combat system there is really fun. It's really engaging. It's what Final Fantasy 15 is based on. And then subsequently, you've got the game coming out. It's based on the combat system of Dream Drop Distance and Birth by Sleep. And it's a very beautiful series. I think the storytelling is a bit meandering at first. But
I don't know if I'd say that. I think that it's what's the game that we're playing right now called?
Birth by Sleep.
Birth by Sleep. Birth by Sleep storytelling is fragmented.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call it meandering. I would say that fragmented is the best description, because you have to play all 3 characters to really get the full story.
Yeah. And
even then, you still have questions, like why the fuck? Spoiler alert. Why the fuck? This is spoilers for Birth by Sleep. Ventus goes, I don't know how I feel. And then he says another line. And then he goes, I think you guys should just end me if you're really my friends.
No, he goes, if you're really my friends, put an end to me. And it's one of those things where you, even at the time, you're like, okay, what the fuck, Ven? But the order you're supposed to play it in is Terra first, then Ven, then Aqua.
Right.
And we for this experience played it Ven first, because this is Gaza's introduction.
Right. Well, and we just talked about this in the car.
Yeah.
If I had played the game in the order it meant to be played, Terra, then Aqua. If I played Terra's story, I get to that moment, I'm going to be like, oh man, now I have to play Ventus' story. That way I can find out what the fuck was going on in his head that he decided that so quickly. Mm-hmm. And then I play the Ventus' story, and I still don't fucking know. I'm going to be pissed off.
Yeah, I think the biggest problem is that it's one of those things, the rare cases where it doesn't give you enough of how a character is feeling. Because don't get me wrong, I've played all the games, it was... For me, I understood, because it was one of those things where, he's going to be a weapon, so he wants to die before he can become a weapon that might hurt his friends. But when you look at it, it's like, okay, well, then you're friends with 2 Keyblade Masters. Why not just ask them to fight the guy that you would forge the weapon with? Why not just ask them to take that over for you?
Yeah.
Because the whole game is about learning to understand that your friends aren't a crutch.
Yeah.
That's like the moral of the story.
And I can't remember what the hell it was, but something had. I still can't remember where I heard it, but it was just pretty much what the saying was like strong people make strong friends.
Yeah.
So the stronger you are, the stronger your friends are, or the stronger your friends should be.
Yeah.
So that asking a friend for help wouldn't be a sign of weakness. It just means that you're strong enough to admit that there are things you can't do on your own, and you do have friends that can help you out in those situations.
Which is really the other half of the message of the game.
Yeah.
Like, for those of you who don't know, and I'm sorry, this conversation will be very spoilers-ridden, the ending of Birth by Sleep is very dark. At the end of Birth by Sleep, every character that you've seen is in a worse place than when they started. Terra's body is lost to the darkness that is Xehanort. Ven is sealed inside of Sora's heart. And Aqua is left to wander the realm of darkness.
So I have to ask here, is Sora just Ventus and Roxas?
Sora is... Okay, here's the gun now. Sora is his own person.
Right.
But Ventus is sealed inside Sora. So now Sora is two people.
Yeah.
Roxas is one half of Sora and one half of Ventus. He's like a fragment of Sora.
Okay.
Because he was formed when Sora loses his heart at the end of 1.
Okay.
So...
Still doesn't make 100% sense,
Yeah.
but I mean, it's a video game. I shouldn't expect it to.
Yeah, Xion is actually, I think, like 1/4 of Sora when you look at it like that.
I don't know who that is.
She's in, not coded, but 358 over 2 days, the Roxas solo game. And her whole shtick is that she was made to sap Sora's power, whereas Roxas was kind of incidental. So...
I'm going to cut you off. The whole time I had your phone on my desk, it didn't go off once. Now that I've put it back in your pocket, it's gone off like 3 times again.
Yeah, this is my life.
Yeah.
So,
Jesus.
it's fucked up.
Yeah.
It's turtles all the way down.
Right.
That's Kingdom Hearts.
So let's get rid of go out of spoiler territory. Kingdom Hearts 3.
Oh, dude, I hope there's a Cars world.
Why is that where you go? I mean,
I hope there's a Cars and pregnancy world. A male pregnancy world where you're pregnant Cars. when we breached the subject of a Cars world, you were so fucking stoked.
I was like, haha, that's a good top. I mean, because we've already seen there's going to be a Toy Story world, which I'm super excited for.
Yeah, it actually looks really good.
One of my favorite PlayStation games of all time was the Toy Story. I think Toy Story 2 game for PlayStation 1.
Yeah.
I think it was actually the Toy Story 1 game. Either way, a super fun game. I had a lot of fun playing. It's one of the games I frequently went back to revisit and tried to play again. And I was like, how the fuck did I beat this as a kid?
Yeah.
I was like, I guess because I'm an adult now, I overcomplicate it. But either way, I'm super excited for the Toy Story world. And I'm sure there's going to be a Star Wars world because Disney owns Star Wars now.
Yeah.
I'm almost 100% certain there'll be a Star Wars world, so that should be cool to see. Hopefully they don't do anything stupid, but I mean, really, Kingdom Hearts isn't canonical to any of the universes that it pokes its head into.
Yeah, it rewrites all of them.
Yeah.
Like, Squall was
It's like an
actually,
alternate universe.
Yeah. Like Squall
is
was a
an
palace
alternate
guard or something. And then,
don't know who that is.
Leon. Final Fantasy VIII main character. Yeah,
I haven't played any Final Fantasy games except for Dirge of Cerberus.
We do share the lack of Final Fantasy experience.
Yeah, except for you didn't play Dirge of Cerberus.
No, I just played Dissidia.
Yeah, I played I think it's Final Fantasy V, Dirge of Cerberus.
7.
Final Fantasy VII, Dirge of Cerberus. And I played that game. I'm like, I don't understand what all the hype is about. I was like, this game is mediocre at best. Of course, I didn't own it. I played it at my neighbor's house on PS2. And I was just like, yeah, I don't need to play any Final Fantasy games. That one's checking those off my list.
Yeah.
But I grew up playing, I guess, similar games. I played Shining Force 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Still probably my favorite games of all time. Very fun games. Very, very fun games. They're turn-based strategy games. I guess on a larger scale because you have I think you have 10 to 12 people in your force at one time. So you're going into battle with, actually, I think it's 16.
Now, is it more like Fire Emblem or is it more like Final Fantasy?
It's more like Fire Emblem, I would say.
Yeah. So I'm always really torn. I don't like JRPGs, but
the only RPGs you play are JRPGs.
technically, but I mean JRPG like the archetype of game.
I don't know what that would be.
Final Fantasy, Fire Emblem, Shining Force, anything that's turn-based, really.
Okay.
Like a turn-based RPG.
What? Okay, so your statement contradicted what your explanation said. You said type of game.
Yeah.
Like the arc of game.
Yeah.
Like the arc of the arc. Okay, so you mean just like the mechanics of the game.
Yeah, like of the mechanics of a JRPG. Which is usually
I thought you were saying like
turn-based.
the arc that the games follow. I was gonna
No,
say
no, I like it narratively.
because Shining Force is really good. The first game, I remember the story pretty cleanly. The second game, a little bit hazy. I haven't played it nearly as much. The first game, there's an evil man. Can't remember the name of him, but he's like a lich-looking guy. I think his name's Runefaust, or maybe the town you begin in. His name is Runefaust. I don't remember. He raises the temple out of the sea. You gotta go get the Sword of Light and the Sword of Darkness. Combine them into the sword, or the Sword of Light and the Sword of Chaos. You get two swords. You combine them into one super sword. Then you gotta go beat the guy.
Yeah. See, I like the narrative structure of those games, and something that infuriates me about some of our friends is that they think if you don't like a genre, you can't like games in it. And you know, it's one thing to be like, oh, I don't like shooters.
I don't know about that. I mean, I wouldn't be able to support or deny your claim. I don't know these people nearly as much as you do. I mean, I've played games with them across the years. Last couple of years, I should say. But I mean, that's not true. If that is a feeling that they have, it's not true that just because you don't like a genre doesn't mean you can't like one game in the genre. Yeah.
It's one of those things where, yeah, I do hate the mechanics, but I will sit through it if the rest of it is something I enjoy. Like, I'm trying to think of what's a genre of game I fucking hate. It's hard for me to think of one. Turn-based RTSs, like Civilization. I fucking hate that genre of game.
You played a lot of Civ 5, though.
Exactly. Like, I can't stand any of those games that isn't Civilization, but I still love Civilization.
Did you ever get Brave New World?
I think I have Brave New World. I think I don't have the other one.
What do you mean the other one?
There are two.
No, Brave New World's the big expansion, the one that changes the entire game.
Yeah, there are two.
I guess Gods and Kings technically does.
Yeah, I have one.
But Brave New World adds a bunch of new mechanics to the game. Gods and Kings just adds people.
Oh, then I think I have Brave New World.
You should, because I remember you invited me to play Civilization, and I had never played it without Brave New World.
Yeah,
and you didn't have Brave New World, and I was like, how the fuck do you fucking play this game without the fucking shit? Like, there's no caravans. Yeah. There's no culture. Culture victory.
Caravans. Yeah.
There's no culture victory without Brave New World. There's a bunch of other missing features. Like, some of the characters I like to play are only in Brave New World. I think the Native American tribe that I like is only Brave New World.
Is Civ 5 the one I was pretty good at? There was one of those. It might have been 3. I was really good at one of the Civilization games.
Civilization, you can't really get good at. You can just get a little better every time.
Well, it's one of those things you can research like a good start.
Right, but you're not guaranteed to get anything at the start.
Yeah, but you can still min-max your city, and you can kind of figure out what's best to prioritize early.
Well, you can min-max your city if you have the right things around you. Like, realistically speaking, you would want like a little of every resource around your cities. You can play a whole game and it's like, oh, I'm Japan, I never found steel.
Well, that's when you have to decide whether or not you want to go long or wide. Yeah, there are different ways you can build your civilization. One is a lot of cities. The other is a lot of land. Those aren't the same thing. So, for example, in one, you would want to have like 15 cities, and in the other one, you'd want the same amount of space, but in 5. And that can drastically alter how your empire grows, because one is kind of forced and aggressive and led by conquest or, aggressive settling, while the other one is like, okay, I'm just going to establish a perimeter and then grow to fill it.
Right, but that doesn't affect what's on that land.
Well, no, but it does affect what you get. Because if you're going with the many cities, you could just settle a city on steel and then not use it for anything but the steel.
Right.
And then you could just settle
If
cities
they're
between
steel.
them. Well, yeah, but like...
You're never guaranteed anything in that game.
Yeah, but the point of one is just to force yourself onto
Right.
those things, those treasured things.
Right.
So it's like when they're there, you immediately say,
I
need this.
played Japan almost exclusively when I first started playing the game, but I had a couple of online multiplayer games where I played where I got dicked because there wasn't any steel on the continent that I was on.
Yeah, so you got kind of
no visible steel. And the Japanese have a special samurai unit that pretty much allows them to dominate the early game because of the fact that their passive is no matter what health they're at, they fight as though they're at full health, so they're always at full strength. Absolutely great. It played to my play style at the beginning very much, and it was absolutely perfect. Then I get into games where it's just like I never find steel. I didn't see any. Conquered a couple of cities. There was never fucking steel nearby. And you're just like, well, what the fuck do I do? Nobody wants to trade me steel. I'm fucking Japan. Why would you give Japan steel?
Yeah. It's one of those things where Civilization's a really fun game, I think, is what I'm trying to say. It's very interesting, very fun to fuck around with. But, I mean, it can lead to some crow eating. Eating crow, you ever heard that one?
I don't think I have.
It's basically like getting dicked embarrassingly. Kind of being shamed, I guess, by your defeat.
I guess because eating crows would be frowned upon because they're seen as, like, dirty creatures.
Well, I think it's eating crow as in, like, pro shit. I think.
Not exactly what I would guess. Again, like I said,
Yeah.
because crows are seen to be, like, bad omens.
Yeah.
So if somebody sees you eating a crow, they're like, okay, let's not go to that guy's house anymore, ever again. Let's not talk to him. If I see him on the street, there's nobody else on the street, I'm crossing the street, and if he crosses the street, I'm going to take the fuck off running.
Yeah. So, speaking of eating crow, what's like the most embarrassing defeat you've ever suffered? I'm putting this in very anime terms, but what's the shittiest loss you've got on your record?
What are the top 10 anime betrayals of my life?
Yeah.
Well, embarrassing for me personally, I'd say there's probably not a lot. I guess there was my freshman year of football. In practice, I sort of tweaked my ankle a little bit. And I was just like, I'll ignore it. And then, like, 2 weeks later, I get a linebacker falls on it. Not, this is during a game. A linebacker falls on me and hits, lands on my ankle and breaks it. And I was like, I wonder if I had, gotten it looked at before or taped it up or something, if that could have been avoidable. So that was sort of like an embarrassing defeat. It's like, my ankle is broken. I maybe could have prevented it. I have no idea. I'll never know. And yourself?
I've got.
You have a lot of super embarrassing stories that I wouldn't tell out loud to anybody, and you've shared a lot of them on the podcast already.
I've got a couple. I'll share two.
Let's go with one. We're
strapped
way over time.
So here's the one that's most embarrassing. For those of you who don't know, there's this girl I was real into, and for embarrassment's sake, I'm gonna say don't mention the name Gaza, but you'll know it immediately. This girl I was really into senior year. A lot of stuff going on there, but I went over to her house a lot and that kind of stuff. We shared a common interest in video games and etc. And I know there's a Halo tournament coming up, so this is a Halo Reach tournament to see who gets a copy of Halo 4. So I spend like 3 weeks practicing for it.
Still have no idea who this is, by the way.
I'll tell you afterward. But I'm spending the whole 3 weeks practicing for it. I'm talking up a big game. For once, I'm super confident. I'm at a super confident time in my life. I feel very good. I'm kicking shit in. So I spend the whole time scrimming with a friend who is better than me and some other folks. And by the time we finished scrimming, I could beat the guy reliably. It was one of those things where I improved a lot in a very little amount of time. So day before the tournament, I bragged I'm going to go kick this guy's dick in. I'm going to the tournament, not even lose a round, whatever. We get there. It's a GameStop tournament. I think, okay, it's going to be simple, no problem. Turns out the best guy in the Great Lakes region is there.
Nice.
Like I looked
he wants to win him some Halo 4.
Yeah, so he picked the weakest fucking GameStop to go win.
Yeah, that's what I'd do too.
Yeah, the same, admittedly.
So if like I'm the best amateur boxer in the northeastern United States, and I see like there's a really weak tournament going on in New England for like $5,000, I'm gonna go win that tournament. Yeah, I'm gonna go shit stomp some people.
Yeah.
Win me some $5,000.
So this guy drives
$5,000, not $5,000. That'd be ridiculous. That's $5 million.
So this guy drives about 3 hours to get to Lorain County. And
don't say that, dude. People are gonna know where you used to live, you big dingus.
Good luck finding me on Facebook. And I deactivated my Facebook and deleted it. But
okay.
So I show up
all you
there.
have to do to undelete it is to sign back in.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna do that. I think I might have already done that. Anyway, so I show up there and I 2-0 my friend. And I 2-0 another guy, and then I get matched up against this dude. For context, I hadn't lost a life up until this point. I hadn't been killed fucking once. But 2 things were throwing me off. 1, the tournament was advertised as a Halo Reach tournament. Guess what it wasn't?
Halo Reach tournament?
Guess what it was?
A Halo 4 tournament?
Halo 4 tournament. So I'm not even using the powers because I don't know what's good. You know? I'm not fucking with it. I'm like, I'll just rely on my basics and I'll fucking dick this guy. So I play the guy. I kill him once. It's a 1st to 5. I kill him once. And we go into the second set and I'm saying, oh, fuck. And my friend's laughing his ass off.
As friends do.
Yeah, because after like the first time I 2-0'd someone, I was, people were hyping me up. It was looking really good. Then I get fucking 2-0 dick stomped by this dude. I think I might have taken a kill off him again in the second set, but I don't think I did. So I don't win Halo 4. I win a poster for Halo Reach, a game that was out, 4 years prior or whatever. And it was actually like 2 or 3, whatever, same shit. So I go home, and then the next day the girl's like, so how'd you do in that tournament? And I didn't know how to explain, getting dicked.
Well, it's a complicated situation. Turns out there's this guy, he lives like 3 hours away. He showed up to like the weakest tournament he could just to make sure he won the Halo.
To be fair, I did
so
talk to the guy after he beat me. Because I'm one of those people, whether I win or lose, I'm going to shake your hand. That's me. I'm a very good sport. No, I'm serious. Even in Smyrna, one of the fighting game stuff. Win or lose, I shake the guy's hand. If I lose, it's a learning experience.
If I creamed you in Madden, I'm sure you'd be like,
oh, not Madden. I can't do that shit with Madden. That shit's 40 minutes of me hating my life. So anyway, I shake the guy's hand. I talk to him for a couple minutes. So he's only got like 2 more people to beat after me. And he's like, really, dude? It's just unfortunate. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, I'm not even from here, man. My friend said people suck at Halo here. He won his copy of Reach here. I figured I'd come down. And I was like, are you fucking with me? And he goes, no, man, I live in Michigan.
And I feel like that should be like, you should have to have a valid state ID.
Yeah, and I was just like, what do you mean? He goes, I mean, you can look me up on YouTube and shit. Like, I've played like in competitive tournaments, and I was like,
that's a copy of Halo 4 you got? Take it.
Yeah, I was in one of those moments where, that gif where the guy just has like a fucking stroke? That's how I felt. And I'm fucking standing there, and this dude's telling me this, and I was just more upset. Like, it didn't make me feel better. If anything, it made me feel worse.
Yeah.
There are very few people who have
somebody went out of your way to dick you.
Yeah, there are very few people who have beaten me, and then I feel bad about it. Like, don't get me wrong, obviously loss sucks, but most of the time, if you lose at something, you can figure out a way to learn from it.
Like, no, this guy's just does nothing but play this game. He played it professionally.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I would love to play Halo professionally, but to show up to a tournament, I was favored to win pretty heavily, and then just get destroyed by a guy who lives 3 hours away. It kind of killed my want. I mean, I still got Halo 4 that night, but, I bought it.
Oh.
Yeah, I wasn't that stupid. I did bring my money just in case.
Oh, my God.
But,
Oh man, that's
Yeah.
great. That's where you went wrong.
Yeah.
You don't prepare to lose.
That's true.
If
I
you-
had the backup. That was my fault.
Yeah. If you prepare to lose, you're expecting to lose.
Yeah. You know what I want to do sometime? I want to take you. I know you don't want to do it, but I want to take you to Tennessee.
Absolutely won't do.
Just because.
Let's see. Excuse me. Let's see how Dragon Ball Fighter Z looks, and then I'll talk to you about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, fighting games not really something I'm super into. Really haven't been since the SNES days, and even then, didn't do tournaments or anything like that. It was just like beating people up that came to my house, playing Dead or Alive with people. Actually Dead or Alive. Nobody came to my house that much. If they did, we were playing Halo, and it was dicking around, screen cheating, being pieces of shit.
I've always been really proud of my ability to play fighting games. Not so much with Street Fighter. I am not fucking good at Street Fighter. But with games like Guilty Gear or Tekken or whatever, like Tekken Online, I had like 1,100 games, and I had a 73-point-something% win rate. So I was pretty good at Tekken.
Many games that I've been best at have all been really like shooters and stuff. Crossfire used to be super into Crossfire, which is pretty much like knockoff Counter-Strike for those of you who don't know what the fuck Crossfire is. Delta Force Black Hawk Down, another first-person shooter. I don't think I was really good at that one, but I played a lot of it. There was another one on Black Ops. I had like a 3.4 KD on Black Ops. Just because whenever I got that game, I did nothing but fucking play that game. Just because, here's the thing. I got it, my mom got it on release. Wouldn't let me play it. It was a Christmas present. And it came out like 3 months before Christmas. She's like, you're not playing it until Christmas. You're not playing it until Christmas.
What a bitch.
And she took it out of the wrapping, like she took it out of the plastic just to say that she played it. Just so she could taunt me and say that she played it. I was like, I know you didn't play it. I mean, you would have to sign onto a PlayStation profile. There was one.
Yeah.
There was one PlayStation profile. It's my profile, and there's no Black Ops playtime on it. So, guess again.
You know what really petty thing has always pissed me off?
What's that?
Whenever I buy a video game, if I'm the one buying it, like it's my money, I've got to be the first one to open it.
Really?
I don't know why. I don't know what it is, but I remember one time my dad very generously bought me Resistance Fallen Man.
Yeah.
And it's one of my favorite games of all time. I love it a lot. But he opened it first. And so I didn't play it for 2 weeks out of protest.
But he bought it.
Yeah.
He bought it?
Yeah, but it was like he had been giving me like allowance money, and I gave it back to him for the game.
Okay.
I just wasn't old enough to walk in and
That's very good.
and buy it. But like he opened up in front of me, and I was super pissed.
Yeah, but if you have your dad with you, you can go in and buy a fucking video game.
Also, I gotta tell you this.
Actually, that would have given away the whole "that's my adopted son" thing.
For my
Get it? Because it wouldn't.
Yeah, for my birthday, my parents had
They're not gonna, you don't have an ID. You're a fucking kid. How would that give away that you're adopted?
Oh.
Why don't you call me out on these things, Duke?
I trust it, but so my parents for my birthday kept insisting I was going to get a PS3. This is when they released, so they would have had to stand in line at midnight at like a Best Buy or something for hours.
Yeah, because your fucking birthday is December 2nd.
Yeah, and then December 1st, and then
December 1st.
pay $600 to buy
worse.
one. So
Yeah, I forgot that fucking PS3s were $600 on release, dude.
yeah, so I'm not optimistic, right?
Yeah.
They're insisting I'm gonna get one.
Dude, I
and-
didn't even fucking, didn't even imagine getting a fucking PlayStation 3 whenever they first
Yeah.
came out. Like, that thing's probably going to be garbage. I was like, my PlayStation 2 still kind of works.
Yeah, that's
But
what I
kind of
said.
works. I mean, if I put Smuggler's Run in and I smash the PS2 controller on top of it for like 15 straight minutes, the game will eventually load.
Yeah, so I'm not.
I don't know
optimistic.
why, but like that you had to
strategy.
beat the shit out of our PlayStation 2 to get it to play most of the games.
Yeah, so I'm not optimistic. I don't think they're gonna do it. And my dad takes me shopping the day of my birthday. He's like, get whatever game you want.
Does he take you shopping or shoplifting?
Shopping?
Okay.
This is buying video games. And
Okay.
he was like, buy whatever game you want. You should probably buy one for your PS3. And I didn't believe I was gonna get a PS3, so I bought a PS2 game. It was a very shitty PS2 game, but I've been looking it up online. I really wanted it. It was a Naruto RPG.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and my dad, as we were in the car, he's like, "Are you sure you don't want to take that back in and get a PS3 game?" And I was like, "Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure." And he's like, "All right." So we go home. They bought me 2 PS3s.
2 PS3s. Why?
Yeah. They were gonna sell one, but like they wanted to surprise me with at least a PS3. So they actually bought me the PS3, and I'm standing there with Naruto in my hand.
For PS2.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, fuck. Now this is when they're backwards compatible, so I still managed to just play it on there, but it was.
Fuck, I got the Slim. They are not backwards compatible with PlayStation 2 games.
I felt really bad.
You can play PlayStation 1 games on them for some reason.
That's weird.
Because I played Toy Story on it.
Huh.
And I was like, how the fuck did I beat this game?
I felt really bad when we sold our backward compatible PS3, because thinking about it, we could have sold it for a couple $100, like 500, 600, because of the fact that they're very rare now. Because it was an original PS3, like it's the 60 gig backward compatible. You know.
I'd like to have a PS3 just to I have a lot of downloadable games. Like I have Shonen Jump, Heroes Versus.
Yeah.
I have one of the Madden games. I think it's 14, maybe 15. I have a recent-ish Madden game. Other ones I don't remember exactly. I think a Destiny I have on digital, but we also have that on PS4. But you don't have to pay to play on PS3.
Yeah. Do we have Destiny like a box Destiny, or do we have Destiny like digital?
Digitally, we got the digital bundle of Destiny, Infinite Warfare, and COD 4 remastered for $80.
Shit.
Yeah, only got it because it has Destiny in it and Modern Warfare remastered. Nobody wants Infinite Warfare. They knew nobody wanted Infinite Warfare. That's why they bundled it. They bundled COD 4 remastered with it to artificially inflate the sales. They're like, "Oh, Infinite Warfare was a successful game. Well, time to make a second one."
I'm excited for World War II.
Yeah, I hope it's all right.
It looks pretty good. But let's go on the topic of history to our next talking point. You have 10 seconds from when I say the question.
Okay. What's the alternative? Like, if I choose not to?
There is none. You have to pick one.
Well, I mean, you're shit out of luck.
Because you gotta pick a president to fuck, or existence ends. Go.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Really? You wouldn't fuck any president? You can pick any point of their lives.
You think I care?
You're telling me you wouldn't fuck like a 22-year-old Barack Obama?
Nah.
You don't have to get fucked. You get to pick.
I ain't gay.
Aggressively.
Shut up. I ain't gay, bro.
Right.
What do I look like? Some kind of homeless?
Yeah. Get out of here. But if you want, I'll answer first.
I mean, you might as well, because you're going to be the only answer.
I figure I'd fuck Jimmy Carter. Young Jimmy Carter, not old-ass Jimmy Carter. Here's why. Because I feel like a
carpenter.
No, but a more
Just
successful,
like Jesus.
a more successful president wouldn't fuck me. But Jimmy Carter's just the perfect mix of still president but still unsuccessful that I could probably land him realistically. You know?
Sure.
All right, so for you, let's do.
The thing that confuses me is you said you have to pick a president to fuck.
Yeah.
Why do you settle in your? You can pick. You have to pick somebody.
Because after I fuck young Jimmy Carter, I'm gonna stay in the past and fuck Jimmy Carter's wife, and then Jimmy Carter again, and then I'm gonna take all their money and leave them.
I mean, I don't think they have a lot of money. They're humanitarians.
Well, they're dead. I think Jimmy Carter's still alive.
I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure old JC's still alive.
I think he's still kicking.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit blasphemous for me to call him JC.
I mean,
Jimmy
Carter.
Carter.
I was like, wow, that's.
I'm dyslexic. Leave me alone.
I know Ronald Reagan's dead, and Reagan was president right after him.
He is 92 years old.
Wow, he is fucking old. Wow, he should just. He looks dead as fuck. Does it ever fuck you up?
I feel like the older you get, the more your eye sockets look like vaginas.
Do you ever think about that we're going to see George Bush like that one day?
I mean, he's sort of like that now.
Nuh-uh. Not as bad.
No, but I mean, he's there.
He's like... How old is George Bush? I forget that we get a lot of Yeah, see, he looks okay.
You said that before it fully. You saw the full resolution of the picture.
I mean, the neck's pretty bad, but... Oh, God, his dad.
Yeah.
Who was president after Jimmy Carter? Reagan. No, it couldn't have been.
It was HW, wasn't it?
When the fuck was Reagan
Pretty
president?
sure it was Carter, HW.
HW lost to
No,
Clinton.
it was HW. That's it. That's it.
So Reagan had to be... Yeah, Reagan was after Carter. I was right the first time.
No. Well, No, Reagan was before Carter.
Nuh-uh.
Why don't we just do this?
The reason Reagan won is
why are we
because Carter's
debating this?
economy was shitty.
Oh.
Ronald Reagan, 1981,
Carter,
1989.
you were right.
Because Carter was a one-termer.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Oh.
I forgot George H.W. Bush was, too. That's what fucked me up.
Shit, he was.
Yeah.
So why does Son get 2 terms?
George W. Bush was a very successful governor. Whereas H.W. Bush, I think, was in the House or something. He wasn't as successful as his son.
We're lucky if this one makes a whole year.
Yeah, but
Whoa, he's got political on the Smashbox Live podcast.
But what ended up happening was Carter rose gas prices really high because of a gas scare that he forced on the people. Then Reagan got 2 terms because, he's the Gipper. Everyone loves the Gipper. George H.W. Bush,
What that means.
it was just his nickname.
Just talk to me on my level.
They called him the Gipper. And so people love it. If you have a nickname, people love you. But then George H.W. Bush said, read my lips, no new taxes. Then he introduced new taxes, so people didn't vote for him the second time. Bill Clinton, people loved him. He was a very good domestic president, a very good foreign policy
Balanced
president.
our budget.
But George W. Bush got a two terms
See,
because of his opponents.
People credit the balanced budget to HW, even though he was only a 1 term.
I think that you can't attribute the balanced budget to either one of them. Because Clinton he relied very
Telling me
heavily...
it did that shit itself?
No, he relied very heavily on his cabinet and his advisors. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I think
Right,
that's the right thing
but
to do.
people attribute these things to the not the campaign.
Yeah.
The
The president lording over them.
no the administration.
Yeah.
The Clinton administration. People will anything that happened during Bill Clinton's presidency in the executive branch is going to be said that was the Clinton administration.
Did I tell you my theory on the housing crisis?
During the Clinton administration.
Yeah.
Does that have anything to do with the
You okay?
drawing a blank the movie, not Wolf of Wall Street, the realistic movie?
No?
I don't know. It's based off the book Too Big to Fail.
Oh, no. I don't think so.
I don't. It was a pretty good movie. Kind of fucked up thinking about it, but I mean, yeah, it's kind of too late to change.
But my theory, and I'm not a fucking economist, I can't, but my theory is that when Hope 6 passed during Clinton's administration, I want to say 1996, might have been 98,
Okay,
whatever.
I don't know what Hope 6 is. So you're gonna,
It was something that deregulated housing and forced government organizations that were giving low-income housing to compete with businesses. So if you didn't give out houses at the same rate as like a business would.
all right, everybody. This is about all the time we got for this episode of Smashbox Podcast. I don't want to put you all to sleep because it's certainly about to put me to sleep. I'm going to see you guys next time on Smashbox Live.